There's a crucial molecule in your body that helps control everything. Your circulation, your energy, your stamina, your heart, even your sharpness of mind. It's called nitric oxide. But after age 40, your body makes less and less of it. Less blood flow, less stamina, less of you. But now there's N101, the nitric oxide lozenge developed by Dr. Nathan Bryan, the world's leading nitric oxide researcher backed by Nobel Prize-winning science. N101 is designed to naturally restore your body's nitric oxide levels. Just do what I do and let one dissolve in your mouth twice a day. I especially make sure to take it before workouts. N101 goes to work in minutes, releasing nitric oxide directly into your bloodstream, supporting healthy circulation, boosting oxygen delivery to your muscles and brain, helping you feel the way you're supposed to feel. More energy, better blood flow, sharper focus. Day after day. N101, it's the science of you working better. Visit HoffmanNO.com. That's HoffmanNO.com and use coupon code Hoffman10 for 10% off N101.
Welcome to Intelligent Medicine. Thanks for listening to our podcast here on Intelligent Medicine. This is Leyla Muedin. I am your host, Leyla Muedin. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist here in New York City. If you'd like to make an appointment, 212-779-1744. If you'd like to email me with questions that you'd like to hear answered on this podcast or topics that you'd like me to take a deep dive on or weigh in on, the email is questions@drhoffman.net. Questions@drhoffman.net. You're seeing it in integrative and functional doctors' offices. You're even seeing ads on TV about biological age versus chronological age and what the science says about all that, because it's all the rage lately to see as baby boomers are aging, and of course the generations after, we're living longer, and we don't just want lifespan, we want health span. So it's of interest to many what their biological age is versus their chronological age. Just because you're 60 or 50 or 75, that's your chronological age, your biological age may be different because your biological age is not a fixed number. And the research supports meaningful plasticity in the rate of biological aging based on consistent lifestyle choices. Here is yet another, hopefully, motivation for you to implement healthy lifestyle habits, because your birth certificates is one thing, right? But your cells, they may actually tell a different story. And this is from a lovely article in World Health Net talking all about, I'm seeing more and more, even on alternative forms of television programming, streaming services where there are ads, I'm seeing commercials for different testing companies showing your biological age versus your chronological age. So, your cells may tell a different story. Two people born in the same year can have biological ages that diverge by a decade or more. And that gap has real consequences, like for disease risk, for cognitive function, physical capacity, and how long each person is likely to live. The science of biological aging has moved fast over the past 2 decades. Researchers now have multiple validated tools for measuring how old a body actually functions. And the picture that emerges is not particularly comforting for most people, but the good news is it is actionable. So, what biological age, actually measures? As you know, chronological age is the time elapsed since birth. Biological age reflects the functional state of your tissues, your cells, and organ systems relative to population norms. The two numbers often diverge because aging, it's not a uniform process. Genetics play a role, but they account for only an estimated 25 to maybe 40% of the variation in biological aging. The rest actually comes from behavior, environment, and accumulated physiological history. Several biomarkers are now used to quantify biological age with reasonable accuracy. Epigenetic clocks, which analyze DNA methylation patterns, are among the most predictive tools available. Telomere length, VO2 max, inflammatory marker panels, grip strength, that's a big one, and muscle mass are all independently associated with biological age and long-term health outcomes. So, what are the lifestyle factors that actually move these markers? Regular physical activity is probably the most potent single lever for reducing biological age across multiple measurement systems. A study published in Preventive Medicine measured telomere length in a nationally representative sample of American adults and found that highly active individuals had telomere lengths corresponding to approximately 9 fewer years of biological aging than their sedentary peers. The relationship was dose-dependent. More activity correlated with longer telomeres, even after controlling for other variables. Sleep quality, chronic stress levels, dietary patterns, smoking, and body composition all show consistent relationships with biological age markers. None of these operate in isolation. They compound each other positively as well as negatively over years of accumulated effect. Let's talk about where muscle mass fits in. One variable that shows up repeatedly across biological aging research is lean muscle mass. Grip strength is among the strongest predictors of all-cause mortality in older adults, outperforming many conventional cardiovascular risk markers. Muscle mass is tied to glucose metabolism, inflammatory status, immune function, and hormonal signaling, all systems that deteriorate with accelerated biological aging. You know, the grip strength is being incorporated in many physical exams of physicians that I know who are in integrative and functional medicine. They do use grip strength on their physical exam notes. And it's a proxy because grip strength is among the strongest predictor of all-cause mortality in older adults. And we do grip strength in every age group, not just older adults. So maintaining muscle mass requires adequate and consistent protein intake, particularly as the anabolic response to protein diminishes with age. The muscle building response to protein can diminish with age. High quality whey protein with its high leucine content and rapid absorption kinetics is one of the more studied options for maximally stimulating muscle protein synthesis. In the context of biological aging, this is a longevity variable as much as a performance one. And if you're staying away from dairy, there's plenty of leucine in meat. Eat it. Meat, poultry, seafood, it's there. Have it. Because we know now that we need double what was the recommended allowance. Now in the new nutritional guidelines, thank heaven, they're showing the proper scientific research about this. 1 gram of protein per kilogram to as much as 1.6. This is really what we're talking, 1.2 to 2.6. That's what we're talking about, not 0.8, rather, 0.8. It's more than that. And as we get older, we need more protein, it is true, to keep sarcopenia at bay, to keep from ever becoming feeble. That's what we're talking about. Let's talk about inflammation as an accelerant. Chronic low-grade inflammation is now recognized as one of the primary drivers of accelerated biological aging. Elevated C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, and related cytokines, inflammatory cytokines, are associated with faster telomere shortening, worse epigenetic clock scores, and higher risk across virtually every major age-related disease category. What drives this chronic inflammation? The list is familiar. Excess visceral fat, that's the abdominal fat in between your organs, visceral fat. Sedentary behavior, poor sleep, processed food, right? And unmanaged chronic stress. Each of these is modifiable, right? If you're sedentary, change your behavior, start moving around. Do you have excess visceral fat? You need to low carb it to burn up that fat. Poor sleep, do something about that. Reset your circadian rhythms. Make sure you're not overdoing caffeine. Make sure you're not eating chocolate, especially at night, right? Processed foods, start avoiding them. Start to manage your chronic stress. Change the things that you can in your life. All of these things are modifiable. And interventions that reduce inflammatory burden show up as improvements in biological age markers. Now let's talk about heat therapy and cellular aging. One emerging area in longevity research is the role of hormetic stressors. This is hormesis. This is controlled low-level stresses that trigger adaptive cellular responses. This is indeed challenging your body via hormesis. So, regular heat exposure is among the best studied of these. Sauna use, actually, has been shown to stimulate heat shock protein production, reduce inflammatory markers, and improve cardiovascular function in ways associated with slower biological aging. So for those of you building a longevity-focused protocol, red light therapy saunas add a second mechanism. Red and near infrared wavelengths have been studied for their effects on mitochondrial function, which is increasingly recognized as central to the pace of cellular aging. You want a simple fix to this? The effect on mitochondrial function? Go outside in the sun, please. Any time of day, early morning, midday, late afternoon. Take your sunglasses off, please. Let the sun rays hit your eyeballs. I'm not talking about looking directly at the sun. I'm talking about looking in the direction of the sun. So the sun rays can penetrate and feed the mitochondria of the retina, enhancing your mitochondrial function in your eyes, Take your sunglasses off. This does not work if you're wearing sunglasses. Okay? When you're out walking the dog and it's a sunny day, take off your sunglasses. You're actually sending a different, wrong signal to your body because your body is now thinking it's dark outside. Maybe it's time to amp up melatonin production. Maybe this is why you're tired at the wrong time of day. Take your sunglasses off. All right. So what does this mean practically? Biological age, it is not a fixed number. The research supports meaningful plasticity in the rate of biological aging based on consistent lifestyle choices. The variables with the strongest evidence behind them are also the least complicated. Regular resistance and aerobic training, protein adequate nutrition, quality sleep, stress management, and recovery practices that reduce inflammatory burden over time. The window for these interventions is longer than most people assume. Changes made in your 40s and 50s, even your 60s and later, still produce measurable improvements in biological age markers. Of course, starting earlier is better, but starting later is still worth it. A lot of people are doing these tests, whether, the direct-to-consumer, like the ads you see on TV at home, or they're doing it with their integrative doctor. And you could follow up on all of these things with a qualified nutritionist. I have a lot of clients that are bringing me these reports that they've had done in terms of their biological clock. And I have to tell you, I've seen different age ranges, anybody from their 20s and 30s all the way through their 50s and 60s. I see some younger people with very poor quality lifestyles whose biological ages are actually older considerably than their actual age. Somebody who's 28 coming back with a biological age of 35. Whoa, what's going on there? Yeah. And on the other hand, I've seen 51-year-olds come back with a chronological age 51 years old, come back with a biological age of 37, 38 years old. And it has everything to do with lifestyle. They're eating the right way. And even if they suffer from an autoimmune condition or a chronic condition, if they're taking proper care of it, if they're managing it mostly with lifestyle rather than a drug regimen, where a drug regimen isn't necessarily warranted if they're doing the right things with micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, lifestyle, herbs, things like that, exercise. They're showing up with a lower biological age. Please do not assume that just because you have some kind of a chronic condition or autoimmune disease or anything like that, that you can't change your biological age for the better, that you can't make a positive impact on your health span, not just your lifespan, but your health span, because you can. So many of these chronic conditions are metabolic abnormalities that you can fix with modifiable things, like the way you eat, the foods you're choosing to eat, the times of day you're choosing to eat, your circadian rhythms with regard to your sleep, your exercise patterns, what types of exercise you're choosing to do, how much strength training versus aerobic exercise you're choosing to do. This has enormous impact on your biological age. And I'll tell you, I've had clients who do a biological versus chronological age report before they've made any changes, like a baseline. And then they do it again 6 months later, 12 months later, 18 months later, after they've chosen to change their lifestyle, to change their diet, to get on a personalized program of micronutrient supplementation along with other things to help them improve with the addition of weight loss, with the addition of measured body composition improvements, blood pressure improvements, blood sugar improvements, inflammatory marker improvements. They see that their biological age is not a fixed number, where they could lose lots of years or gain lots of years, is how I should be saying it correctly, in their health span, because what they see is that their biological age marker in an unhealthy setting comes way down from where it was 6 months, 1 year ago, 18 months ago, after they've implemented the lifestyle changes, the dietary changes, all of that. It truly is remarkable, and the control is with you. May the force be with you. Yes, it is with you. It is already with you. Please wake up to that. Please know that. These are all modifiable, because the research supports meaningful plasticity in the rate of biological aging based on consistent lifestyle choices. Please heed this information. You do have the power. It's always been there. So, grasp it. Do it. I want to thank you for joining me on another edition of Leyla Muedin here on Intelligent Medicine.
I want to thank you for listening to the Intelligent Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast app, and get new episodes automatically downloaded every weekday. And please give us a rating and review. It truly helps new people discover intelligent medicine. The Intelligent Medicine Podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, nursing, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice, and no doctor-patient relationship is formed. The use of information on this podcast or materials linked from this podcast is at the user's own risk. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they may have, and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. Finally, please visit drhoffman.com and discover everything Intelligent Medicine has to offer, including frequently updated, unbiased health news and fully vetted product and supplement recommendations.
This is Leyla Muedin, registered dietitian nutritionist. I maintain a private practice and see patients regularly. If you require a nutrition consult with me but live out of town, there's no need to travel to New York City. I have telephone and telehealth consultations with clients from all over the country. Please visit drhoffman.com for more information. And to set up an appointment, call 212-779-1744. That's 212-779-1744. I look forward to being a collaborator in your healthcare.